Life has a way of surprising us in the moments we least expect. I had always thought of my mother's girls' nights as nothing more than harmless evenings of chatter, laughter, and maybe a little wine. But one evening, what began as a simple night for my mother and her friends turned into an unexpected turning point in my own life. A twist I could never have imagined, a twist that would change the way I looked at love, vulnerability, and destiny. It was a Friday evening, and I had just returned from a long week at work. I wasn't in the mood for company, but my mom had already invited a few of her closest friends over. They were the kind of women who filled the house with energy the moment they walked in. Bold laughter, clinking glasses, the faint perfume that lingered in every room they passed. I usually kept my distance, preferring to stay in my room or retreat to the backyard with a book. But that night something felt different. The music was louder than usual, the chatter brighter, and the mood in the house almost electric. As I passed through the living room to grab a drink, my mom caught sight of me. "Oh, sweetheart, you should meet someone," she said with a mischievous sparkle in her eyes. She tugged me toward the sofa where a man I hadn't seen before was seated. He was younger than my mom's usual circle of friends, closer to my age, with an easy smile and a presence that drew me in before I even heard him speak. "This is Daniel," my mom introduced, her tone almost playful. "He's helping out one of my friends with a project, but I thought you two might get along." Daniel stood to greet me, his hand warm and firm when it wrapped around mine. "Nice to meet you," he said, his voice calm yet deep, carrying a charm that seemed to resonate in my chest. There was no denying the instant pull I felt. It wasn't just attraction, it was curiosity, like something inside me needed to know more about him. As the evening went on, the women laughed louder, the wine flowed more freely, and yet, amidst it all, Daniel and I found a quiet bubble of conversation. We slipped out onto the porch, where the night air was cooler and the stars scattered like secrets across the sky. He told me about his work, his dreams, the way he'd stumbled into my mom's circle by chance. I found myself laughing in a way I hadn't in months, feeling lighter with every word. The sound of my mother's friends drifted in and out, but I no longer cared about the noise inside. What mattered was the way Daniel's eyes lingered on me, the way he leaned in as if he couldn't get close enough. Hours passed like minutes. When the clock neared midnight, the women inside were still going strong, but Daniel and I had slipped further into our own world. He brushed a strand of hair from my face, his touch lingering just long enough to send a shiver through me. "I didn't expect tonight to be like this," he whispered, almost as if admitting a secret. Neither did I. The tension between us built with every shared glance, every accidental brush of his hand against mine. I felt like I was standing on the edge of something new, something thrilling and terrifying at once. And then it happened, the kiss. Soft at first, tentative, as though he was afraid I might pull away. But I didn't. I leaned into it, feeling the warmth of him, the passion that had been quietly simmering since the moment we met. It was reckless, maybe even forbidden in the context of my mom's girls' night, but it felt inevitable. The world faded away, leaving only the two of us beneath the stars, caught in a moment that neither of us wanted to end. When we finally pulled apart, both breathless, I knew something inside me had shifted. Daniel looked at me with a seriousness that cut through the haze of the night. "I don't know where this will lead," he admitted, "but I don't want this to be the last time I see you." Those words stayed with me long after the night ended. In the days that followed, we exchanged messages, then calls, then quiet meetups that grew longer with each passing week. What began as a spark at my mom's girls' night grew into something deeper. Late-night walks, endless conversations, the kind of intimacy that made everything else in life seem less important. But love stories are never without their complications. My mom eventually noticed the way I smiled at my phone, the way Daniel's name seemed to slip into conversations more often than chance allowed. When I finally confessed, she was shocked, even a little protective. Yet, after the surprise wore off, she saw what I felt. How real it was, how undeniable. Her girls' night, meant only to be an evening of fun, had become the backdrop to a love I never expected to find. A twist of fate that brought Daniel into my life, rewriting my understanding of chance encounters. As months turned into seasons, Daniel and I built something strong and unshakable. We faced challenges, yes. Moments of doubt, questions from friends and family. But through it all we chose each other. And every time we looked back on how it all began, we couldn't help but laugh at the strange, unexpected magic of that night. Because sometimes love doesn't arrive in grand gestures or carefully planned moments. Sometimes it sneaks in through laughter-filled rooms, through the twist of an ordinary evening that suddenly becomes extraordinary. My mom's girls' night was never supposed to be about me, but it ended up changing my life in ways I'll never forget. The secret twist at my mom's girls' night wasn't just a shocking story. It was the beginning of my own.